Yeah.
You might have to accept the recording. All right, so for our humongous audience, this is the first sweeper meeting, right? So the purpose of these meetings are just going to be to talk about challenges we had over the week, answer questions as simple as where do I take the trash, talk about challenges we might have faced during the week and how we solved them or how we want to solve them in the future. And also just like somebody got a birthday, and it's really team building so we can get to know each other. So like it's not just some random person through a text or social media profile. People get to see who we are and what we're trying to build in the world. So in case, well, like because this is the first time, I wanted to share, like, anybody watching this video in the future, like what we're doing and what I feel like we stand for as a company. So Trash Mitter is right now is Uber for trash, right? That's what we're doing, and that's what will be the core offering to the public. But the idea behind it is more than that. The concept of ecomedic. So because I come from a a first responder background, firefighter, 23 years. We have paramedics and just for the sake of illustration, paramedics will go out to a call and they do what's called triage. They assess the situation, they see what's there, and it could be a fire, it could be a gunshot, it could be anything. But there's people screaming, there's just a lot going on, and they're trained to just look at the particular problem, stabilize it, and get it to where it needs to go, to where the experts can handle it. So as eco medics, the same applies. We get to a particular trash problem, we stabilize it, meaning we wrap it up and get it out there, and we get it quickly to where it needs to go. The dump, eventually to different recycling places, where the experts can handle it from there. So in that vein, we are not garbage men. We are eco medics, and we're not a waste management company. We are a logistics and distribution company. And I want you to think like that because you are essentially like a key component of a system that could radically revolutionize the idea of waste management, where a city like Philadelphia, where we started, is, the nickname inside of Philly is that it's called Philadelphia, right? Why? Because there's trash and litter everywhere. So if we can stand for getting somewhere, we might not be the cheapest, but we're going to become the fastest. We can get somewhere quickly enough before the elements, before the animals, before the rodents, before random people create more trash from the trash that's out there, like kicking it over or ripping it open and causing the wind to blow, the smell, the stink. If we can actually stop that before it gets worse quickly, we stand to make a ripple effect of preventing said litter from blowing into the street, into the gutters that will cause floods, into the ocean and the rivers that cause the pollution in the rivers. We can prevent that if we're fast enough. Will we prevent it all? No. But the game here, and it's not like, think of it as a game, is how much can we do? Can we do it all? Maybe in the future, that like if we have enough people. But the collateral effect affects so many things that it's called the butterfly effect, if you've ever heard of that. It's changing one little thing now ripples throughout time, basically. So I know that sounds kind of big and high minded, but the idea is we are changing the future by doing this now. So whenever things get problematic, stinky, and we're going to talk about the what we just went through yesterday. Whenever people give us bad information or don't make things simple for us, I kind of just want to inspire you to think bigger and think how can we leave something better than how can we leave it better than when we got there, right? I think that's going to be a testament to what what we can bring to the world. I think we can change attitudes. I think we can be proud of our work and not just get bogged down in the activity of it, because yeah, it sucks. It's stinky work. It's not always pleasant. Granted, what we're dealing with was meant to be small loads. um, that's going to be our, our core focus, because small loads turn into big loads if they're not addressed quickly. So we have to really just start to train people like, hey, get rid of it quicker than once a week, because here's the reason. Here's what happens when you wait that long, and hopefully, move, touch, inspire them, incentivize them with the trash tokens that we're going to be creating, because those will be usable for, something that you use every day, like trash bags, and then from there, even more stuff. So yeah, so Jonathan, the reason why Jonathan is the first, the very first sweeper, the very first person that trusted in this. And it's funny because not even my own brother, not everybody, they look at this and they're like, well, why would I want to do that? But he took a chance, and he's learned that while there are challenges, it can be lucrative. It's been, it can be better than, say, Lyft or Uber sometimes. Again, we need to close in and make some better rules around how we operate, but, we're kind of just creating something here. And anytime you create something, you break a few eggs, as they say. You draw outside the line a few times till you get really good at it. But the end result, you know, and I'll let you talk about it, Jonathan. Um, Going from beginning to where we are now, it can be very lucrative as a side hustle, and you can be proud of what you're doing eventually, and even be rewarded for it, not just in your heart and in your mind, but like financially and even socially, because part of what we're doing, I want to elevate you guys as, in a different manner, like for your stats, let's just say how much impact you had on the world, how fast you were, how cool your beard is, whatever. We're gonna get into all that kind of stuff, and have you make a name for yourself in the world, even just through this, through your service. So, Jonathan, what would you say so far? Like, I just want you to talk about like how it's going, and then some tips and tricks you learned along the way, because we had to learn by doing, right? So some things that have really helped you, just some tips for people like day one. What do you need, and what you should be prepared for in case of this? Because everybody's going to have those questions, and it's better if you just answer it because you're doing it.
Yeah, so as a sweeper, driver, pickupper, and let me just introduce myself briefly. Uh, I started I mean, how long? We started what, like 7 months ago, maybe?
Unofficially, yeah. Officially 5 weeks ago, but we
Okay.
we really we really
Uh,
started. Me and you started back in October testing this out.
yeah.
So
Just my early, just, I for me, I worked, over 10 years in media, graphic design, for a nonprofit, and, wanted to have, it was a nonprofit. It was a faith-based organization. So like, didn't have holidays with my family, because those were like the number one. Those were the Super Bowl, Sundays, essentially. Easter, Christmas. Wanted more flexibility. Wanted, to make more income. Um, have experience, doing property management and stuff like that. So as a property owner, um, experienced the pain of not having trash picked up. Um, one of the pains I experienced was, having an Airbnb and then having trash not picked up, and one day needing to, uh, figure out that problem. And I have a yard that's maybe like the size of a small kitchen, like a 5 by 10 kitchen, and, was completely full of trash that was probably, I would say, maybe like 3 months worth of trash. Like, it was insane. And the cost of having to personally do that, and then not finding people who knew how to do that well, I hired someone to start the process, and then eventually I had to finish it just because there's people think trash and dirty. They don't think they don't think it can be excellent, so they don't do excellent when you're cleaning up trash. So anyway, my experience early on as a driver was we were when we were just getting clients. It would be a couple bags here and there. Um, it'd be like usually the white kitchen bags, which are about 13 gallons. Not much. It'd be like 1 to 3 of those on average. And so it definitely wasn't something that you could, I would say, make a living off of. And it was simple enough where I would just drive to a location. I had pretty much a new car, brand new car, and would feel fine in putting it in the back trunk because it wasn't like the nasty kind of garbage. And so we did that for probably a couple months. It wasn't a life changer by any means, but it was, and at times at that level, it didn't. It was almost not worth it. So I definitely like did it out of like seeing the vision for what it was as opposed to what it was then. Like knowing it could be something bigger. So taking kind of those hits in the beginning, like believing that it would be bigger in the future, and being loyal to family. So early on, I just needed to make sure I learned that I needed to have my own bags because people leaving bags can leave them in any number of conditions. Um, Most of the time, it was quick pickup, so that rodents didn't get to it. They weren't torn or anything, but definitely like liquid and tears are like a really bad combination for your vehicle, even if you're having a work vehicle. So the first thing I invested in was my own bags, and, and then eventually like a liner for the back of the truck in case there were spills, something that could catch that.
You had a
Um,
tarp too, right? Or until you got
I,
the
I don't
liner,
I
you had
don't
a
have
tarp.
a car. Might do that. For me, I wanted to for the way I'm doing things. I would want to have things I could dispose and clean easily. Whereas, like, if it was a small tarp, maybe like a couple feet, as opposed to like these big tarps that can cover a whole car.
Hmm.
Because I don't know how to clean a big tarp. I wouldn't know how to do that in case there was a spill. I'd rather dispose of it. So I get like 96-gallon bag liners, and I'll just throw them on the backs of my seats if I have to put my seats down. Because I have like a nice mid-size SUV. Um, and that's usually like it. I just dump everything when I dump everything. Currently, yeah. So currently, the way where we dump in Philly is there's convenience centers throughout the city. Um, and just to let you like how I made ends meet is I'll go out and drive Lyft or Uber, and I'll pick up trash either at the end of the day or if it's like enough work at the beginning of the day, and still do finish that up quickly and then drive the rest of the day and lift or finish the day. And typically, what would happen is if it was several locations, I would make more in an hour doing trash litter, like doing the pickups, than I would make in a day or half a day doing Lyft or Uber. Just the way it worked out.
So to
Uh,
that end, right, and that's important. As we grow the network, and you actually help that a little bit because what's cool is you actually tried to talk to people who are interested, and you spread the word. And I think maybe one customer came
yeah,
from that.
true.
But as we grow the network and we close in, and it makes these locations closer, like the concentration of the area. So now you're not necessarily running to all over the city. The more you have in one area, the better your pickups. So just to relay the point, I think what was it, last week for 90 minutes work, you made almost $200, which I think that's a high right now, like a record. But over time, I want to just say this as a goal. I want to see that our drivers make at least $30 an hour average. It could be more. But as the network grows and people just like Uber, start to get used to this, and they like this convenience. And this, think of it as this, this is a solution for 20% of the world, but there's plenty of people in the world, right? So as we close in a network of people that need this in the future, conceivably, I feel like a sweeper could just stick to a 1 mile square radius of his house and just clean up and do well in that little 1 square mile pocket, and just always respond to the things closest to them, and do exactly what we said, make 30 $40 an hour average for 1 2 hours work, and do better, not have to waste so much gas, not have to be so far away from home. That's what we're building towards. So I'm glad you brought that up, what you've been able to do, because you've planned your route out, and we're going to actually, our technology is going to help with that and make it so that we give you the optimum path for you to make the most money. That you touched on that, and I'm glad you did, because that's where I want to head, because I feel like we're in efficiency and a distribution and a logistics play, and you've encountered this. We don't want to have people going off, and showing up, and then the trash is not there because the city picked it up. So we need to build in, like, hey, the city picks up on these days, stuff like that, just to make it so that our drivers don't have to get bumps and bruises along the way. You've had a few, you've gotten over them, and we definitely want to attract people that are problem solvers. But because of your feedback, because of you telling me about these things, you're teaching me as well on how to make it better for you. So thank you, and continue.
Yeah. Um, I again, like, problem solving is probably the number one. If I wouldn't say
Skill
like skill, yeah, because problem solving is a skill, and so you do want to invest in things like even how you show up within a problem, or like within a challenge, and just kind of using them. I have a creative background, so like problem solving is part of that. Um, and so I feel like that's the number one skill. I think another benefit is what you need to enter this thing. So obviously you need a vehicle or access to some kind of vehicle. You know, um, Driving other gig stuff is you would have to have a vehicle that meets a certain requirement, right? So like you can't do some of the more lucrative gig work with a vehicle that isn't like something that I think like
like a
is,
tiny vehicle, like a
no, this I was speaking more like other gig work would be like you would have to have like a 2016 model car to do like say Uber and Lyft, which is the most profitable. Sorry, my kids are like coming down for breakfast.
that's
Matthias, can you follow the Pop Tarts?
we're gonna have that problem soon here. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna wrap it up soon.
Yeah, I'll step out. I went outside, but then cats started fighting, so I came inside. My kids are wearing Pop Tarts. So, um, yeah, so like a 2016, like you can't use certain vehicles for Lyft and Uber. You wouldn't even qualify unless you have a newer vehicle. Like
But isn't
every,
that because of the miles on it, or is it really just the age?
I think it's user experience too. I
Mm.
think it's like what they want their people who are sitting in your car to experience. So like you're not
Yes,
gonna have
we don't have that problem with our business. It's like, oh, you got a beat up pickup truck for 1959. It'll
gonna
work.
be Lyft and Uber with a pickup truck.
Yeah, I don't think you can, but we could pickup trucks definitely work better for us.
You could probably do Uber Eats, but anything where you would have a person, you wouldn't be, you're out of the game right there. Um, and so, just some of the things I learned right now. I get my own bags. I use 96 gallon liners as my main thing to kind of lay down and put bags in. And I'll carry bags that are bigger than like a kitchen bag that can hold maybe two kitchen bags. Because I like to rebag them just to reduce the chance of like kind of spill. Um, you know, and I think those are like the biggest thing is just to kind of be aware. Now as you were talking, and then as far as like investing in skills, read, like I drive while I'm driving. I'm listening into audiobooks like Dale Carnegie's like How to Win Friends and Influence People. Like invest in learning how to deal with people and sales and all that because um, you are going to deal with people. And so like most of the time you're not going to see them or see a client, but like when you're trying to resolve an issue that rarely comes up. Um, Yesterday, one of the biggest challenges right now are new customers because new customers, our main customers now are like Airbnb hosts who just need trash gone before guests get there. And so you're just turning over like whatever like a cleaner puts out. So usually like sometimes they use the Senate bags, which are great. And you're not even dealing with like stinky trash. You're dealing with like just things being left or like soiled linens that they like throw away because they're spoiled because of a stain or something. Um, but also when we talk about per hour, this is being in Philadelphia.
What it is.
One of the things, can you hear me?
Um, yeah, just go to the back.
Yeah. So one of the things like when dealing with when we say like per hour is with Lyft and Uber and I think anything else, when you don't have a passenger, you're not getting paid. Like if there isn't a passenger in your car while you're driving, you're not getting paid for that time. So
Exactly.
when I'm counting my hours, I'm counting my total time, like me driving to a location, me picking it up, dropping it off. Like my hour is an all around hour, not like waiting. Like waiting for something to happen. And so if in that way, like within an hour, I can with Lyft or Uber, I can maybe do on average 2 rides on average, and that's around 15. You know, that might be between $15 and $25. So like an hour, doing something, and sometimes it's done in less than an hour, but it's active time. Like that whole hour is what I use. I got paid for that whole hour. And again, like comparing it to Uber or Lyft specifically with how their algorithm is working, it's more than, it feels like it's triple for the same amount of time. That's where we're at right now. I know it's going to change, but that's where it's at for now.
Well, here's to that end. So, because I feel like these big companies kind of, they look at maybe not in the beginning, but maybe they just look at people as a resource. Eventually, because of stakeholders and stockholders and everybody, they're just trying to drive revenue. For me, the way to for me that I intend to kind of offset that eventual thing, because everything's sweet in the beginning, and then you have to you kind of have to dial things in to make it worth everybody's time, right? So, and I think you're aware of this, but like how I plan on implementing it, you might not be aware is, we created these trash tokens, these crypto tokens, which is how we're going to use that to kind of fund litter collection, like kids, homeless people picking up litter and getting paid. But this part of it drives it, and the trash token that's being created, and eventually the treasure token, they're going to be a mechanism to reward our drivers for what they do in a different sense. So you mentioned trash bags. We're going to get really heavy into trash bags. We're going to have our own branded trash bags. And the reason, there's a few reasons. Number one, being able to track them. Number two, marketing. Number three, is as you drive and generate revenue for us, you will be rewarded in, let's just say for the sake of, for right now, you might get 10 trash tokens per dollar that you earn, right? Or that you generate. So over time, those are going to be tradable for real world goods. In the beginning, definitely going to be trash bags. So now, like, we'll be able to subsidize any materials you use, right? We're not paying for gas per se, but we can pay for supplies, right? So you could trade those and use those in. That goes for both customers and for drivers. But over time, you'll be able to use those for real world goods and services, bigger than that. And, we plan on having, you know, access to a bigger store where you could receive that. And you know that, I don't know if we're going to get it to the point where we're rewarding you for the miles in between of what you're doing things. That might be a little too tricky, but the point I'm trying to make is that dead time between trips, as you mentioned, like it might take you 2 hours in reality to get from to make the 25 an hour that you're making because of, the time in between where you don't have a load. We want to make sure like you can get paid in between your times by just picking up something small. We do want to focus and stick to those smaller bags. So even let's say our drivers, we might try to sell convince these hosts, hey, buy these bags, and maybe the driver gets a little cut from that, like Girl Scout cookies. You get a little cut from those bags you sell to these hosts, making your job easier because now they can only shove certain amount into 13-gallon bags. Number two, generating a little additional revenue. And number three, and we've encountered this, when people in the street see these bags on the side that we're picking up, they like to throw their bags on. So now we can reject those bags. Hey, that ain't our stuff. And now like you're not picking up other people's stuff that you're not necessarily paid to do. So these bags are going to become really important to what we're doing. And like I said, it can become something that you buy, something that you sell, an exchange. A bag might be, a bag might cost 12 cents in the real world, but you could get that bag by your activity. So we're running out of time here, but I like to do this every week. If we have any questions and challenges, maybe once we sort out the challenge from yesterday and we kind of look at the numbers and see what the collateral effect of it, because now we're having property managers start to call us for their supposedly little problems that turn into big problems. But this is how we grow. We'll talk about that and see, as a case study, and then hopefully we'll get more people on and we'll record these. And whenever people have problems or questions, and thank you for this, we'll answer them here. So if it's something that comes up online, I'll make a list. You can answer them, and all the other sweepers, hopefully over time that will come on, can answer it, and we'll just make this a regular thing. And hopefully we can give value to our sweeper group, our sweep fam, because right now we're in Philly, but we're about to expand to Tampa, New Jersey, and I'm one person, so I can't necessarily educate everybody. So hopefully whoever sees this is our first video, but you might see Jonathan in a managerial capacity real soon, organizing people, because we're going to need bigger trucks and somebody's got to take care of that part too. Again, we're not a waste management company, we're a logistic company, but part of logistics is the loads, right? Like these bags. So that's what it is for right now. But people are like, oh, can you take refrigerators? Oh, can you take mattresses? So we're going to become a way for all these people who do that, like as a little side hustle, as a handyman. And now they'll all be under one umbrella. And anytime they want to pick up, something, or pick up a job and they have a truck for it, like they'll just be able to turn on the app and go from there. Like it'll be no big deal, right? So that's it for today. You got any last words for people watching this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you're okay with it. I mean, it is because this is how I see it. There's you as the creator of it. You have big vision, and I think sometimes as a driver who's jumping on, there might be like, all right, what do I do until it's big, to really make it worth it, right? Because like, I would see it hard for a person who picks up 2 bags a week to like retain that person long, right? Because they're gonna, oh, it's not worth it, like that extra little thing. And what I would say, like the move is to combine like for now, like when I tell people how much I make per hour, my thing is I just wish there were more properties, right? Like I just wish we have, which is gonna happen eventually, because then I just do this exclusively and have just much more time with my family and much more time to do other things, right? And so what I would say the move in the meantime is, combine it with whatever you're doing and bring it in and do it consistently to kind of like learn. So like the move I did that worked well for me is I did Uber and Lyft because I was doing gig stuff. And mind you, I see drivers sitting at the airport for hours. Like they're just sitting at the airport doing nothing and making no money while they're sitting there. So I don't know why they sit there. I'm confused by it. But like, so the move is like, go out. Like if you are a gig worker, go out and do the gigs and pick up these along the way. The way that worked out for me is when COVID hit, I had no job. I had rental income, so I had money coming in. But then I just started picking up the trash meter. Trash meter was bringing in $400 to $500 extra a month.
You're way past that now, though. You're like
Yeah,
in the 2 grand area.
right. So like now it's closer to 2 grand, and it still is like maybe 10 hours of my month. Like my month, not my week, not my 2 weeks. Like if you put in like what's the workday? 8 hours.
Yeah.
You put 16 hours of this. There's like as it is now, 16 hours a month. Like where this is now, you're gonna be at least 1,000. I would say at the very least, conservatively, $1,000.
Yeah,
If you
I feel like if I can help people get an extra 500 a week off of this, and we could do it effectively, like everybody wins. And it's just building out the network. And to that end, maybe we're going to start giving people marketing materials. You just mentioned people sitting at the airport. Well, if we can create an affiliate system, and that might be in the future a referral system. I mean, if you were just hanging out in the airport parking lot and you passed out a bunch of these, and let's say 4 people started picking up Southwest Philly and Darby, or the areas that are close to there because they want to be available near the airport. That would probably change lives, right? So it just depends.
and women and female drivers too. Like there's drivers who like I don't feel safe with passengers in my car. Like they don't feel
As
they
long
don't
as it's
feel
not the passengers
they
that come
don't feel,
inside the trash bags, like you had a couple.
just to let you know, my wife is a doula, which is like someone who helps women give birth. She goes to her doula appointments, and if she has the car that day and she's like in around one of these areas, I say, "Hey, can you pick up 4 bags? Can you pick up these bags?" And she does it happily. Like she's not because she's like, "Hey, yeah, I love this." She's like, "Yeah, that's easy. Like it's easy. I'm on my way to do this. I'm already on my way. I'm already in that area." And
Yeah.
so that's the other thing is like, what if you could turn on an app, pick up, 6 bags? What's 6 bags right now? Like
So
what?
so rough.
Six,
I'm telling people like roughly you're getting paid roughly but right now about $6 a bag. So whatever
$6?
6 times 6, 36 bucks to go.
Right. So like on your way to somewhere, you know what I mean? Like your trash is going, and you don't know where to go, right? Your trash is going out the next day. You turn on the app, you pick up 6 bags, 8 bags in your area, put it out with your trash. Like
Yeah.
because the trash is not in their area. Like there's times where I'm not gonna go into that, but
Yeah, I mean we have more
eventually
dumps and stuff.
we'll have, but
Yeah.
like
Oh, before you go, because our time's running out. The 3 ways, and you've told me this, and just because people ask this all the time, what am I going to do with my trash? Every area, first of all, every area has, you know,
sanitization.
trash. Yeah, places you can throw trash. Every city does. So in Philly, there's like 6. So that's one place, and then the second place is you said this when trash trucks are driving and you're close by, they'll take them bags too. Yeah, like they don't mind if you throw a couple bags in there while they're already there.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Not often, but
I've asked. Yeah, in Center City, not so much, but in the regular neighborhoods, you're like, hey, because if you're not driving anything that looks crazy, like I have a regular car, I have an
yeah,
SUV. They're like, I say, hey, can I just throw these bags in? And they're like, yeah, they let me throw the bags in.
yeah.
That's when I was doing it with my son who's 7. That was easy.
They're probably not gonna take a big old SUV full of trash, but like a smaller thing, a couple bags, they'll do that. And
Yeah,
the final way you mentioned was just putting it in your own trash. Like if your trash day is next day or 2 days and you don't have a lot of trash, it's not a big deal. So we're running out of time. Any like final 30-second words for this thing?
Yeah, I mean, and also if you just see, the area like where trash is being picked up and there's room on the sidewalk, just put it out with other trash. Sometimes that's just 3 blocks away from where you are. Yeah.
Right, that's right. Because
So
the city will take up to 8 bags in at that place. So that's another, you know, eventually we don't want to do that. We're going to do trackable trash bags, and we're going to have places specifically for you to put things because we want to get the recycling going to where it needs to go, the biodegradable where it needs to go.
yeah,
That comes in time. We're going to have colored trash bags. It'll be easy to identify, and then we'll have different routes for different people. So like what we're creating is the internet of trash or the internet of garbage. And once you see that, you're going to be like, how do we live without this? So, thank you for
yep.
your time. I'm gonna end it here. But we're gonna do this every week, and we'll hope to have some guests with some questions. And that's it. Thank you. And I'm gonna wrap this up so that people don't want to get caught up in a long video. So, cool. Thank you. Talk to you soon, and check your email because I sent you something, and I need some answers so we can sort out yesterday's challenge. All right. Cool.
Yep.
All right. Peace. I'll talk to you soon. Oh, yeah, and you got that chestnut pickup soon, so I'll get you that information too. All right. Cool. Talk to you soon. Bye.